Hello, welcome to Commnation's interview in English today. And today I want to welcome Zeke Camusio. Let me introduce you to Zeke. Zeke is the founder of Digital Aptitude, a digital marketing agency located in Portland, Oregon in the US, and they specialize in SEO, social marketing, conversion rate optimization, and Google AdWords. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he has built 4 successful companies in the last 10 years, but also 3 who never took off. And I want to say thank you for letting us know that, you know, from starting a lot of companies, sometimes it doesn't always work. It doesn't mean that it never will, but you have to try and try again. Zeke is probably hyperactive, but he's one of the smartest person I have met in this business. He has read over 400 business books in his life. And he's extremely passionate about business and entrepreneurship. In his spare times, he's volunteering for 2 nonprofit organizations has to do with entrepreneurship. And he has called the Internet Marketing Bible that you can find on Amazon. He's also writing for big influential blogs like the Search Engine Journal, excuse my English, Startup Nation, and the Branding Magazine. His blog is absolutely amazing, and the reason I know this is because I've been meeting your blog, Zeke, for over 3 years, I guess, and you have now 30,000 subscribers. There's so much to learn there. You have to go and read it. You were named the Internet Marketing Expert by Entrepreneur Magazine. A little bit about you personally, your private life. You were born in Argentina, and you moved to the US in 2003, and this is why you have a sexy accent. We're going to hear that in a second when I stop talking and let you talk. And you're also meditating. You will tell us about this. Playing rugby, and you have visited more than 100 countries. That's pretty amazing. But Zeke is, above all of this, he's my guru, and he's been my teacher and coach for more than 3 years. And on top of learning a lot from him in the digital marketing field, I have learned a lot from Zeke. I have learned how to set goals, how to write a proposal that sells, how to get organized in my business, which was not an easy thing, become more productive, and creating processes. And most of all, you have showed me how it is that the more you give, the more you get, and I thank you for that. So you understood, everyone. I love Zeke, obviously, not because he's very good looking and very intelligent, but oh yeah, he's married. I have to say that just for the girls. But I love Zeke because he's a visionary, and he has really an amazing outlook on life, and that I think that's what makes you very special, and that you're incredibly generous. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop talking now. Please welcome Zeke Camusio.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add?
No, that's a pretty extensive bio, so I think we're good there.
Okay, so let's just start to talk about interesting things. You know, as I said, I've learned so much from you that I want to share that with all my people, because I'm sure there's so much they can actually learn also there. And one of the most amazing thing about you, Zeke, is how much you are, you know, able to do in your business. Like, that's why I said you're hyperactive, because like not only you have like zillions of big clients in your agency, and yes, you have a team now, but you also keep just learning everything you can, reading, etc. So what is your secret? How do you do that?
I don't know. I spend a lot of time thinking about what I want, you know, putting it into writing or you know, pictures, and You know, I think it's all about priorities. I mean, we all have 24 hours every day. It's all about, you know, how you want to spend those hours. And for me, business is a lot of fun. I mean, it's one of my passions. You know, I like to travel, I like to play rugby, and I like business. I mean, those are my three passions. So, and as you said, you know, I'm not the kind of person who, you know, just, you know, takes it slowly. You know, my motto in life is if I'm gonna do something, I want to do it as well as I can. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's you know, it has to do with focus. You know, knowing what you want and prioritizing that, and just putting a lot of hard work and hours behind it.
So you talked about focus, and in this day of, you know, in the age of the information overload that we're in right now with the internet, and we're all totally ADD, as attention deficit disorder. I don't know about you guys, but I am, because I'm trying to do something and then something else catches my mind and I'm starting to read, etc. How do you deal with the temptation to read and especially learn everything that's, you know, that you can on the internet, and you just focus on actually getting more client and earning money?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of a lot of talking about multitasking, and I've always been a big fan of single tasking. You know, just doing one thing at a time and just like doing just that. So, for example, if I'm writing a blog post, I turn my phone off. I don't have any email alerts on my computer. I don't want anybody, you know, knocking on my door. Like, I want to write because that's what I'm doing. So I think it has to do with you know, just doing one thing at a time and putting 100% of your attention behind it.
Yeah, you were telling me once when we talked that you usually write like you block a morning and then you write like 4 blog posts in the morning or in a day or something. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things I really like doing is batching. And batching means basically grouping similar tasks together. So for example, like this week, for example, like I have like 4 or 5 meetings all happening tomorrow, one after another. And I do that because tomorrow I'm gonna be in the mindset of, you know, meeting people and being social. But yesterday, for example, I spent a whole day editing video and doing some creative work. And on Monday, I spent the whole day writing. So I do a lot better when I can work on, you know, I feel like we all have different mindsets. The mindset you're in when you're meeting people is different from the mindset you're in when you're going through a creative process or writing, or, you know, or doing some sort of like mundane task, like, you know, bookkeeping, right? So for me, the more I can group those things together, the less I have to switch between, you know, one mindset and the other. So I like grouping, for example, all the writing on one day, all the meetings on one day, and that way I find that I just get more done and I enjoy it more.
Right. So, and there's another thing that I know you do, because I've known you for a few years now, and I work with you, and I've seen how you work, and you are creating a lot of processes. For instance, I remember that when you were hiring new people for your agency, you had, you know, can you explain us about these processes and how you know, you organize this?
Yeah, yeah. So I think that what I see in a lot of entrepreneurs, and, you know, the way I used to be myself, is I used to be in reactive mode all the time. And what this means is, you know, you wake up, you know, you open your email inbox, and based on what you see there, that's how you plan your day. So you're basically a slave to all the emails you're getting, all the phone calls you're getting. You're putting out fires, and you're not doing anything proactively to, you know, improve your business or take it to the next level. So I just started being more intentional. You know, just every quarter at the agency, we get together and we talk about, you know, what went well the previous quarter and what we want to do the following quarter. And then with this information, basically we set goals, and for each goal we define different tasks. So let's say, you know, one of the goals is to increase our client satisfaction levels from 95% to 98%. And then we break this down into actual tasks. So, you know, for example, you know, pick up the phone within 10 seconds, or, you know, answer emails within 2 hours. So we, by spending some time thinking about what you want to work on and where you want to be in a few months, then you can build that that process backwards to specific tasks that you had to complete to get there. So I think it has to do with being intentional as far as, you know, what it is that you want to accomplish, and defining the steps that you need to take to get there.
So yeah, can you explain us about these processes for your team?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of creating checklists for everything we do. And the reason is I think that the human memory is not as reliable as we think it is. So we forget stuff all the time. So for example, like every time we set up a new Google AdWords account, we have specific steps that we need to follow. That way we don't forget to make sure that Google Analytics is installed, or that, you know, the campaign billing information is set up, stuff like that. So I basically what we do is we have living documents. We use Google Docs, and the reason why we have Google Docs as opposed to like a Microsoft Word document is that we want the document to be online, and we want anybody in the company to be able to access that and edit it at any time. So if anybody finds a better way of doing things, or, you know, we need to remove something from the list or add something to it, anybody can do it, and this is a document that is, you know, online all the time for everybody to see.
Yeah, that's really great. I've actually started doing this, learning from you for my business, and it really helps. For everything we have a checklist, and we don't have to think about it anymore, so that's really great.
Cool.
So the other thing that I wanted you to talk about is another thing that I've learned from you about 2 years ago. It's how to write a winning proposal for clients with few different levels. Can you talk about this?
Yeah, so I think that the key is to listen to your clients. I mean, I think that that's where most agencies get it wrong. They you know, they ask, you know, a couple of questions, you know, they meet for half an hour, and then they just go and write a proposal. And I think that the key to a good proposal is spending a lot of time asking a lot of questions, and especially asking those questions that are a little bit uncomfortable. You know, I know a lot of people that have a hard time asking for, you know, budget or expectations or goals, or, you know, their decision-making criteria, stuff like that. But unless you know all this stuff, it's going to be impossible for you to put in writing what it is that the client needs and what it is that you're going to be doing for them. So I think that, you know, just gathering all that information is absolutely crucial. And, you know, once, as far as writing the proposal itself, I believe it's all about, you know, repeating some of the words that they used, and making sure that they understand, or they can see that you understood them, and that you understand their needs and what their goals are. So yeah, I think it's more about, you know, like the universal skills of, you know, learning, of listening, and being able to, you know, put in writing exactly what it is that they want and what you're going to do for them.
Okay, that's very interesting. The other thing that I want to ask you as an agency is how do you deal, or how do you reduce your non-billable hours? All of us agencies, we spend a lot of time meeting clients, writing proposals, and when you count the whole thing, which we've actually started to do here with the software, then you just realize that you don't have a lot of billable hours. How do you reduce that? How do you deal with this with your agency?
Well, I mean, the way we do things, we we don't really bill by the hour, so it's a lot easier for us. We just we're on retainers for our clients, and they just pay a fixed amount per month, and that's how much work we can do. But I know what you're talking about, and I think that the component the component that is really hard to measure is project management. Because the initial meeting, I mean, normally it doesn't take too long, and most people are pretty good at evaluating how many hours a certain project is going to take. But the one element that is kind of like this sort of surprise factor is project management. So, for example, if we're doing a website, we could spend easily 100 hours doing the website itself. But now, for project management, it could be somewhere between 10 and 80 hours. I mean, the range is really, really wide. And the reason is that, like some clients just let you make all the decisions, and they trust that you know what you're doing. So, the amount of time you need for project management is minimum. But then you have clients that, want to move something to the right, and then they want to move it back to the left, and they want it a little darker, and then a little bit lighter, and that takes forever. So I think that's really what makes a difference. So I think that the key is number one, to be able to figure out very early in the process, before you put together a proposal, what kind of client you're dealing with, whether they're going to be hands-on, involved in every step of the way, or they're just going to trust your judgment and let you do your job. And that's part of it. And the other part of it is just, like the more you do it, the better you're going to get those estimates. I was talking to a friend of mine the other week, and he was telling me that he started tracking with a time tracking software how many hours certain things are taking him. And he found that way that he was spending 3 to 4 times the time he thought he would be spending on project management. So once you have that information, then you can adjust your rates to make sure you account for the right number of project management hours.
There's something that I really want to talk to you about, because I read your article on meditation, and I'm also meditating. I don't know if you know that, but so I want you to tell us what is your meditation routine and how it has helped you in the business world.
Yeah, so I found meditation through a friend of mine a couple of years ago, and I never really thought it would help me with business, at all. But it's been amazing. Basically, what I do is I try to meditate every day. More realistically, I probably meditate like 4 or 5 times a week. And as far as how much time I spend meditating, I mean, sometimes it's half an hour, but sometimes it's just like 5 minutes. And the kind of meditation I do is called mindfulness meditation. So basically what I do is I just sit down. I don't really care too much about the form, or like whether I'm sitting at a 90-degree angle. I mean, those kind of details are not really important to me. Sometimes I'm sitting, sometimes I'm lying down. But basically, I try to be aware of what's happening inside me without judging it. So, for example, I could be like, oh, I'm feeling anxiety. This is what anxiety feels like, and I start looking inside and understanding the effects that anxiety is having on my body and my mind. So, for example, I could notice that my heartbeat is increasing. It's like my heart is beating faster, or I could notice that I'm thinking about how I'm gonna lose my job and I'm gonna be homeless. I have all these weird feelings, and you just observe that, and it's kind of funny because you're like, this is not really gonna happen. This is just like fears that don't really have any component of reality in them. They're just thoughts. So I think it's a really good way to know yourself. And when you're an entrepreneur, like most of the time you're just using your brain. I mean, that's your main tool. So I believe that meditation is a great tool to just be happy overall, but it also makes you I think it makes you a better person, a more compassionate and impatient person.
Yeah, absolutely. I do also mindfulness meditation, which, by the way, in Switzerland now is done. All the classes are organized by the hospitals, and the insurance is reimbursing the money to people who do this, because obviously it's been proved that it really helps in the health department and everything. So it's really amazing, and I also found, and I don't know if you're the same, but that it helps me being much more creative for my work.
Yeah, that's. I'm really glad they're doing that in Switzerland. It's gonna be a while before they do that in the U.S. I really like how European countries, especially Western European countries, they spend a lot of their budget trying to make people's lifestyles better, and I feel like in the US sometimes it's all about the money, so I'm glad you're doing that over there.
Yeah, so it's really great. Now I would like to know, what are your top business books of all time, your favorite business books of all time?
I have a blog post. I don't know if we can use this for the interview, but I have a blog post with my top 10 books. We can do this two ways. I can just give you the link, or let me pull up the list and I can talk about them, whatever you prefer.
So I'm getting to the last question now. Okay, so tell us what are your top blogs or programs or whatever, anything.
Yeah. So as far as digital marketing, I really like Moz. It's M-O-Z. That's my favorite to learn about what's happening in the internet marketing world. And then I just read different things based on what I'm interested in at the moment. Lately, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. I've been learning, video editing and design and stuff like that. And they have really good tutorials. So normally what I do is I open a lot of videos, I see which ones have really good reviews, and I mark them as watch later, and then I just go back and I just watch 2 or 3 hours of instructional videos. And the other website I really like is TED. TED has the best speakers in the world talking about the most incredible topics. So I love TED.
Yeah, we love TED. Me too. Now, I'm just remembering that you told me a long time ago, maybe I read one of your blog posts, because you listen also to a lot of podcasts, and you were teaching us how to listen to the podcast faster so you can save time, right?
Yeah, I do that with some audiobooks. I just find that some audiobooks are really, I mean, they're the way they're read, it's not even natural. It's like, me saying, hello, have a great day. They're just like painfully slow. So I use the Audible app on my iPhone, and they have all the different audiobooks, and you can actually pick the speed of the playback. So I normally play them at 1.5x or 2x, depending on how fast it is. It's not so much to save time; it's more so the actual speech is more realistic as far as the speed. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna put the link also to Audible and everything that we've talked about on the interview, and it's really, really great to have you and to listen to you, and I really hope that people will discover you and your blog, and they will learn from you as much as I have learned in the last 3 years or even more now. And I want to say thank you from all my heart, because really, like, you've been a big influence on my business, and thank you. And thank you for the interview.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so we'll hope to see you soon again.
Yeah, I'll visit you sometime soon.
Okay, great. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.